Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be doing my betting picks for the Week 6 season of the USFL 2022 season. This week's games are pretty decent. There's a couple games that are pretty important for a lot of these teams now that we're halfway through the season, that some of these teams really need to win these games, so we might see some more desperation. But we gotta just wait and see, but time for me to give my picks, what I think are going to be the hardest games so far to pick, probably, just because of the, necessity to win. The first game is a really tough one to call. It's the Bandits at the Stars. So you have a 3-2 versus 2-3 teams with pretty similar records. The Bandits are 3-point favorites, and the over/under is 40.5. This is pretty hard to look at and just say what I think can happen. The Bandits' offense looks to be doing better, and the Stars are just kind of being okay. I don't know what exactly the deal is with Brian Scott, if he's going to be back or not, but with him being question mark and probably not playing, it's hard for me to look at this and say that I believe this will be an over. But at the same time, it's hard for me to think that they're going to total less than 40.5 points, as literally every game last week had more than 40. But I think that this might be where it cools off, but it might not. It's tough to call, but I'm going to reluctantly go with the over. And as for who wins, I think that the Bandits do continue to roll. I haven't been a fan of them at all, but I think they're going to keep rolling. I think they win this game, and I think they cover the spread, and it's going to be over. The second game of the week is the Panthers at the Stallions. Now, I want to see the Panthers win. They're my team, but I'm going to be real here. I think the Stallions win. But even though I know they won convincing last week, I think the Panthers defense is going to do a really good job. I'm going to go back to pretty much my old Panthers viewpoints on this for the most part. I think the Stallions win, but I think the Panthers cover the spread because I think it's going to be under. I think this game's going to have less than 37.5 points. I think it's going to be 37 or less. Just because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, that's basically saying 20-17. I could see that being the final score, and that technically counts for all three of them. I could definitely see it being 17-14. I could even see it be 14-10. So I feel like that's going to be the final score. So for this one, I'm going under Stallions on the money line, and Panthers cover the spread. The third game of the week is the Pittsburgh Maulers of the New Orleans Breakers. Now, this is a game with a team that also is in desperate need of a victory. The Maulers are 7.5-point underdogs, which I think is pretty crazy, given the fact they just beat a team that had a really solid offense. The over-under being 35.5, I'm going to easily take the over on this one. But as for the favorites and stuff, I feel like this could be the upset of the week. I feel like the Breakers could get punished for how they play, and that the Maulers continue to ride off their momentum, especially because if they lose this game, it's going to be really, really tough for them to get back in the playoffs. But granted, that means the Stars win, but since I definitely can see that happening, even though I think the Bandits will win, I'm going to go with the Maulers actually upsetting the Breakers and covering the spread, and I think this is going to be an over. So this is my hard pick that I really don't like, but I'm going to go with it because I just have that gut feeling the Maulers do pull off this upset. The last game of the week are the Houston Gamblers at the New Jersey Generals. I would say the same thing, but the Generals just look so solid, and their rushing attack is just so good, and now that they have a solid quarterback, I think this is a team that's definitely going to kind of blow past this team. As for the over-under at 38.5, it's pretty tough to look at it. I think that Clayton Thorson isn't a good enough quarterback to, beat this Generals defense that has some pretty good players. So I think that as for the over-under, I actually am going to go with the under on this one at 38.5. And as for the spread and money line, I think the Generals, even though I know saying under and they win by more than 7 is pretty hard to say, I'm going to go with it. I know it's weird, but the Generals are just really, really solid. And I think they could definitely win this game 20-10, 21-10. It's just how I'm feeling. So for that, I'm going to go with the Generals winning this one by more than 7. And it's going to be under. So those are my picks for this week. As for how I've done so far, it's now at 500, I think again. I think it was already at 500, but now it's a different 500 because in the spread I am literally 10-10. My money line, I went 2-2, so not great, not terrible, but I did go 1-3 on my spread, which is pretty bad. But I went 3-1 on the over/under, which I think is actually my best week. So hopefully this week I can get back into the W column of having more wins than losses, or being correct more than I'm wrong. But so far, being 500 and everything is pretty good, I guess, especially the over/under, which is I think the hardest to choose in this new league. But if you're this far in the video, if you like this kind of content, I do this every week. I do this, power rankings, week review, and players of the week every week. So like and subscribe and hit the bell. You'll be notified every time I upload. And as always, have a great night.